Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be taking a look back at the legendary musical duo, the Jesus Twins. If you're not familiar with them, you're in for a wild ride. These guys are something else. So they started in the late 90s, and they became mostly known for their personalities and the way they try to promote their music. Before they had anything going for them, they were acting like they were the greatest musicians of all time, and they'd talk trash about every other musician out there, and they would try to get people's attention by basically getting people to hate them, which is an interesting strategy that worked for them a little bit in the beginning, but then it just got out of control, because as you'll see, these guys are just self-destructive. Any break they get, they just ruin it. But also, like this comment says, if the Jesus Twins had started today with TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, they would have exploded. Like, they would have for sure gone viral. Even if it's for being hated and being memes, they still would have gotten a lot of attention. Kind of like the Island Boys, people have compared them to them. But honestly, in my opinion, the Jesus Twins, they make the Island Boys seem superfluous. Like, the Jesus Twins, they were way more entertaining and unpredictable and better musicians, and they had some cool dance moves. And they were also very good at getting people to hate them, which is probably their paramount value. Like, these guys were the most annoying, narcissistic, condescending, agitated musicians of all time. And they're like this before they had any success. They had one song out, nobody knew who they were, and they thought they were the greatest musicians alive. So in 97, right when they started, before they had anything going on, they decided to go to The Tonight Show and try to convince Jay Leno to let them perform live. And they actually did get a chance to talk to Jay, and he obviously didn't let him perform, but he was being nice and gave him free tickets. So they stayed and watched the show, and then in the middle of it, they decided to run on stage and start performing. And then they got thrown out and banned. So their next idea was to try to get onto the Howard Stern show. And they were fans of the show. They called in a few times before this. But one day they decided to just show up outside the studio with their manager and a security guard and harass employees while they're walking into work. And they started yelling at Howard's producer, Baba Booey, and they're demanding that he lets them in so they could get Howard to listen to their song. And it ends up working.
And they're downstairs yelling at Gary and calling him an idiot.
And they're calling gorilla names, and you just can't even get out of the building right now because of them.
Because they even have bodyguards, but these guys aren't even known yet, but they think they're famous.
The bodyguards were calling you names. The manager was calling me names. The bodyguard was going, why is Howard being such an a-hole? Like, nobody, they're just the worst jerks.
Yeah.
We're putting them on just solely to hear their music and let them know how much they suck.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
But what if they're good?
They're not. But I didn't need to listen to the record to know that.
Really?
I could tell. I could look at them and tell they suck.
Really?
They have like stars attitudes, like without being stars.
Yeah, big stars.
All right, let me meet these guys.
It's really
The manager called up and said,
And this would all be really stupid if they were goofing or being shticky, but they're not. They really aren't.
Yeah, and that's a question that people continue to ask. Are they just doing shtick? Are they trying to do this to get attention, or are they for real? And as the video goes on, you'll probably start to see that they were for real. This wasn't shtick. These guys are just really out there. So the Howard Stern show is the perfect place for people like this. You know, Howard doesn't care if these guys are assholes as long as they're entertaining and they don't make fun of him too much, which is a problem they get into later on, as we'll see in this video. But if they're making fun of Baba Booey and all the other staff members, Howard loves that shit.
And here are the Jesus Twins.
Here, come around this way, guys.
This is the only show you got to get past a stutterer, a monkey, and a gorilla.
They have. Well, you guys understand that a lot of people.
Away from me. I'm not sitting next to him. Yo, crackhead, why don't you leave? The interview's over.
Oh my God!
Oh, wait a second. Let Crackhead can sit
Crackhead is
there.
our guest.
Share the spotlight with him.
Come on, Crackhead.
Likeable
Listen,
guys, Howard.
No offense, but taking up space. Listen, man, you had your time. Get off the show.
Well, we want him here, though. We like him.
He's our guest. This is our house.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. You guys have a band. And as Gary says, I mean, at some point you have to have some sort of recognition factor, or you have to do something to somehow get acclaim. But you guys are already having rock star attitudes, and you haven't done anything yet.
We've
Howard.
What have you done?
Let me tell
Would you take that cigarette and put it out? It's killing me.
Hey, give it to
killing you?
Yeah, give it to Gary. You're
It's
killing
killing
me.
you worse, but you don't want to die.
Yeah.
Whoopi, when I want your comments, I'll ask for them. Now listen.
So another reason why they wanted to come on the show is because Howard has a new movie coming out. This is around when Private Parts was being released, and they think their songs should be on the soundtrack. And Howard said the soundtrack is already finalized. There's really no chance they'll be able to get their music on there, but they're still demanding that he puts it on there. So they just start trashing all the other music that's in the movie.
All right, music will wind up on the soundtrack. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Are you guys really convinced I will hear this music?
Yes.
And you are really convinced?
Listen, you have. If you want me to criticize the album, I'm more than happy to.
All right.
You haven't heard the album.
I don't give a rat's ass. LL Cool J.
Yeah.
He's not a musician. He's a sitcom star. You said it was breaking the rules. Why don't you just get Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on there?
LL Cool
That's
J
really
song.
intellectually stimulating for Howard Stern.
You can say what you want about LL Cool J, Flea, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The song is good.
You got Chewbacca singing a vocal?
Hey guys,
Who's Chewbacca?
Hey Jesus.
Who are you calling Chewbacca?
White Zombie.
Rob
Like
Zombie?
Planet-
The guy's a
Planet
genius.
He sucks. They're not musicians.
Oh, for God's
Green
sake.
Day appeals.
You are a
You have-
musician.
Wait a minute.
Ozzy,
You haven't sold a
I
record
am
yet.
the innovator of music. Listen to me. Listen to me. Shut up. Ozzy Osbourne should have been superannuated years ago.
All right,
The
listen.
guy's like 75. And Perry Farrell,
Yeah.
he's an impresario. He's not a musician. He hasn't played a gig in years.
He's no good either.
So these guys are confident in their music. You got to give them that. I mean, this is a pretty bold move, just going on there as complete nobodies, trashing all the biggest musical artists. And it actually is working for them to a degree because they made it on the show, the biggest radio show of all time. Howard ends up playing their song. And the song, it's not great. I think Baba Booey puts it best. It's frighteningly mediocre. But even after this, a guy from a record label calls in and he says he's interested in signing them possibly. So these guys are like kind of catching a big break here. But first, here, I'll just play part of the song because also a fight breaks out in the middle of it.
Sit him down. We need their bodyguard to protect us from them.
All right, can I comment now?
No.
Can I say something?
Douchebag, you think I'm Melrose Larry Green? I'll kick your ass.
Wait, easy. Sit down. Guys, relax.
Here's our security.
Guys, sit down and relax.
We
Sit
got
down
a bunch of people who want to fight in here.
Crackhead Bob was grabbing.
And then Howard's like, the song wasn't that bad. I was expecting a lot worse. And of course, they aren't happy with that at all. Like, they get all pissed off at that.
It's a nice song. It's an okay song. It's an okay song. It's not horrible.
Why would it be horrible?
I said it's not horrible. I was expecting a lot worse.
What do you mean a lot worse? The song's the best song in the
better
country.
than any song you have on any soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then they keep telling them to read the lyrics and listen to the music more. And they even have a music video that they keep telling them to watch. And they have some interesting dance moves. I'll give them that. It's crazy, though. The way these guys talk about their music, they somehow sound more arrogant than Kanye. And that's hard to do. And at least Kanye has proven himself, and he's backed it up. People actually enjoy his music. I don't think these guys have gained a single fan at this point, and they're acting like this. So I can't imagine what would have happened if these guys actually blew up. That would have been wild. So then after all this, they decided to bring in their manager, John Mendelsohn. This guy's just awesome. And of course, the Jesus Twins are all annoyed by him, too. He starts talking about himself, and they just start flipping out.
Here is your manager. Now, do you manage any other groups, or is this your first time managing?
Is this a movie
Actually,
promotion
when I was
or
17
something?
years of age.
You have
What?
a chair for him?
Okay.
No
Anyway,
chair for
He
the manager?
doesn't need a chair.
Anyway, when I was 17 years of age, I managed a group called Vice.
Who gives a crap about that?
Let me get away from
hate
that.
him too.
Howard.
Who cares who you
Howard.
managed?
Okay, Howard.
Yeah.
This is my first professional group other than that. And I could say this.
What did you do before?
This-
Let the man speak.
Well, I'm actually the vice president of an entertainment company.
Please, get to the point.
Getting away from that, Howard. Right now, my
do you
main
say we have to
concern.
Go ahead.
Okay, Howard.
What is your concern?
all-
My
we
main
rehearsed in the hotel
concern
room.
is taking this group to the top.
Right.
Making all other issues irrelevant. These two gentlemen right here,
The Jesus
are
Twins.
the threshold to the next decade. They are getting away from the grunge, from the MTV generation, the rap, the crap, and also the techno
I just
music
love this. This
Right.
that
is
is
a
very
movie.
superfluous.
Right.
Right now, if I may,
Yeah.
right now, I am putting a deal together for these guys to appear at Billboard Live that should be happening within the
Oh,
next 60 days.
Listen, this is not.
No, this is true.
Well, obviously you have a lot of confidence in your band.
It's not just confidence. I have shown the tape cassette to a couple of people in the Sunset Hollywood area, very prestigious people.
Right, and they have already
without
recognized.
even mentioning any names, there is a bar in the San Fernando Valley that has begged me for the last 6 to 7 months to play these guys.
Listen,
and
forget
right
about what
now,
he's saying. The point is, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No one
but
does.
he's your manager.
Yeah.
Listen,
So then, like I said, right as they're about to leave, I think it was the vice president of Epic Records calls in, and he's like, I'm actually interested in them. I don't like their attitude that much, but I'm intrigued by the music. So it looks like they're about to catch a big break. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them. But then, of course, the Jesus Twins run back in the studio, and you can probably imagine how that goes.
Now here's Harvey Leeds from the record company.
Oh, really?
I swear to God. Harvey,
Yes.
you like their music,
Well, I started to like it, and then they started insulting Ozzy Osbourne.
right?
I got a big problem with that.
Really? Did you like it? And then they...
Harvey, what record label are you with?
Epic Records.
I don't
they
even think I
bankrupt?
signed with Epic.
No,
we didn't sign with Epic.
very successful label now.
Harvey,
I wish your soundtrack was on Epic.
right? Harvey, the boys, you like their music?
I did like it, but then they were very insulting, and their manager, it sounds like the World Wrestling Federation.
Right.
That's true.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's a guy in the record industry likes the Jesus Twins.
Well, good for them.
But when they showcase in L.A., I'd like for somebody to come and see them.
I'm not
Really?
wasting my time.
Absolutely.
Tell the boys, they got a record executive.
I don't care about
Get the
Epic.
boys back in here.
Oh,
so they can
please don't let me bring them
No.
back.
Come on.
You can't get them out.
Just for a sec.
Epic, I believe, is the band that signed Pearl Jam. Is that correct?
I believe so.
They suck.
Well, do you want to be on a label
That's a
that has any other artists?
He's a vice president of Epic Records.
And he wants to show.
He wants to go
send
see your
someone.
band and he wants to check you guys out, and you're turning him down.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
You think that's wise?
These guys are original, I'll tell you that.
I hope they have good luck on the wrestling circuit.
We just rejected you, douchebag.
All right. Harvey, thank you.
Jeez, we only called you
Wow.
back in because we had some.
I thought you'd be
interest in you.
excited by this. I got the wrong impression.
Has to be a certain kind of
Label.
kind of company.
Very good.
Have
All right.
you
Well,
approached those companies?
What a pair of brats.
So that pretty much sums up their whole first appearance. And then a month later, they go back on the show and they pay for like all this equipment. They hire a whole band. They have like 2 backup singers, 3 guitar players, a drummer. They spent 15 grand on this whole setup to perform at the studio. And they didn't even get an okay to do it yet. They just show up with all this stuff and they're just hoping that Howard's going to let them play. And then also while they're on here, they keep begging him to let them perform at his movie premiere in Madison Square Garden, like the theater there. It's just never enough for these guys. Howard's being generous enough to let them back in the studio and maybe giving them a chance to play. But it's crazy. They just always want something else. And their appearance here is pretty hilarious. Like, they're all business when they show up, and they're just letting John do all the talking.
The Jesus Twins had the highest approval rating in the history of the E! Channel, minus maybe 1 or 2 episodes. You know it, and I know it. Robin Quivers knows it. Howard Stern knows that. But I also want to convey that a record label of major significance will be signed in a matter of 72 hours. The band will perform today. After the band performs today, they'll perform again at Madison Square Garden. Should we succeed, we're going to come on the air and publicly announce the signing of the band, and then from there we'll go on to other talk shows. The record should probably sparkle up the yin-yang, and it'll go from there. Twins take over. I am their manager, Howard. That is correct.
Now listen, something strikes me as odd that the Jesus Twins are some guys who came on my show. They're trying to get a music career going.
I hope this is a comedy troupe.
No, it's not, Robin. The paramount value of the Jesus Twins, surprisingly, has nothing to do with comedy. It's music. Music is their paramount value, which drives me to another point, Howard.
Right.
The Jesus Twins want to appear at the premiere. We spoke about this the other day.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut right to the chase.
Please.
I saw you guys went to a lot of expense. You brought down your equipment. I don't know how the hell you're affording all this. Somebody told me that your parents are very wealthy or something. Is that true?
Completely superfluous.
And that's another question. Everyone's wondering how the Jesus Twins afford all this stuff. Like, they haven't really done anything with their career. There's no way they can be making any money, but they're traveling around with bodyguards. They're flying back and forth from LA to New York City. They have this whole band set up for 15 grand that they got going on. They're wearing nice suits and stuff. So a lot of people believe that their parents probably have money, which they admit their parents did have money, but then I guess their dad was arrested for embezzlement and now they really don't have much. And that could be true because as we hear later on, John says that he's been financing all this, which sounds about right because he claims that he has some money, and as you could tell, tell he really believes in these guys.
Stated on the air that we have people in Los Angeles, we have people in Chicago, in Detroit, here in New York that love the Jesus Twins. And to paraphrase a point I made that made Robin laugh, we have a strong approval rating right now.
Where?
Where? It's all over.
And then they actually do convince Howard to let them perform while they're in the studio here. And Howard wants to get together a panel of like record label guys. And of course, the Jesus Twins hate that idea because they hate everything and everybody. But John, he thinks it's compromisable.
And I think we should have a panel of 5 people.
I'm not interested in a panel.
I am.
I'm not interested in the Ricky Lake crap.
No,
Wait a second.
we should have hold it. This is not
Gentlemen,
open for
let
negotiation.
Howard.
Yeah, right. Let me
Howard,
speak.
when you say a 5-member panel, who will be a member? Who will the 5 members be?
Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, it could be it could be Steve Leeds from a major record company. It'd be Ross
Fantastic.
Abel from Geffen Records.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, right.
I could get guys from all the major labels. I can get representatives from every major label.
Compromisable.
What?
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
I think he means acceptable.
Oh.
Is that
Synonym.
I don't think he knows.
Compromisable. It's acceptable.
It's acceptable.
It's a
All right,
synonym,
that's it.
Robin.
Go figure. I understand him.
John?
Let's get some results here.
Yeah, come on. Get things going.
First of all, one thing that I learned in college and also when I was in varsity debate, only speak when you have something to say. I found this to be quite interesting.
Right. This is the background.
Listening is my paramount value, which brings me to another important note.
Right.
You see,
Oh, he's great.
Howard,
Right.
let's cut the crap for a minute. Let's talk about the premiere.
Go ahead.
Let's do this.
All right, let me hear the music,
All right,
and then I'll talk about the premiere.
Howard, listen, I'm not here to give some verbose dissertation.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to indulge you. I'm going to let you play here. Okay. Let you play a song.
Fair enough.
All right. You know that the premiere, I'm telling you this straight.
We already
the
know it's a
premiere
big
is
deal.
locked in. It's locked in. It's very hard at this point to add some musical entertainment.
One song.
If I like the song and the panel of judges likes the song, and I'll go to the audience as well, if they want you there, I'll find some way to finagle you into this thing.
Right.
So there, now.
All right?
That's what you
No.
want.
That's it.
Compromisable.
That's it. Compromisable? Compromisable?
I agree. Howard, please.
Well, please. The negotiation's over. What
I
was it?
agree. I agree
I'm
with
giving
everything
into
you
all
say.
the demands.
I agree with everything you say.
Yeah. You guys now go with your band, get it together, and we'll watch you perform.
Right.
Fair enough.
All right.
I need some coffee. Can you get us some coffee?
Right now, I couldn't feel better. I want to thank my coach, my debate coach, Kevin Baskey, for teaching me one important role. Know when to speak, know when to shut up, and get the deal closed. And that's exactly what happened today.
So then they get to perform, and I think it goes pretty well for what they're trying to do. I mean, they're up there doing their weird dance moves and everything, and it sounds like the record label guys are kind of interested, but then they start asking questions, and that obviously doesn't go as well because, I mean, they have no audience so far. The only audience they have is Howard's audience, and those are just people that hate them. So, I mean, I don't really know what they're going for here. Like, you got people's attention, but everyone just hates you. I don't know where you really want to take it with that. And I don't even think they thought that far ahead. Also, it's very clear they cannot handle any criticism, and nobody will get them to change their mind or change up what their strategy is or anything. And then also, it seems like the only thing they want to do is perform at Howard's movie premieres. Like, that's all they talk about.
There's something happening visually. I'm curious as to what the Jesus Twins think their audience is and who they're focusing their music to.
Our audience at this point, the general public, will be transformed as far as listening to a new trend.
It's a crossover thing. John, take control.
Crossover thing. Right now, you give it to John. John.
All right. No, what was the question again? Can you? No, just sorry. This is in reference to the audience visually.
Bob will explain to you.
All right. I have two answers for that. One of the beautiful aspects about this group is that it's multiracial. It's very rare that you'll find a multiracial group. Secondly, it's very melodious.
How many races are in the group?
2.
There are 2.
There are 2, right.
But it's still.
I say that's biracial.
It's multiracial.
That's a biracial group.
But it's also very melodious. And after listening to this, everybody that desecrates the vision and the image of the Jesus Twins because of obnoxious behavior learned a very important lesson today.
What's that?
The Jesus Twins are for real, that I am not mentally insane for taking these guys on. And let's just say that the newest millionaire in America today is Jonathan F. Mendelsohn, and then
That would be you, right?
Multi-millionaires are the Jesus Twins, Eric and Jeff. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please give them a round of applause.
I think the new rich guy is the guy who rented them the equipment.
So
house.
what does
Yeah, right. The new
concern me-
rich guy is the guy who made 15 grand on the equipment. No, you're saying that the Jesus Twins will be discovered today. This is a great day in the Jesus Twins
Howard,
history.
past tense, the Jesus Twins have been discovered thanks to you.
Thank you.
So please, band members, let's give Howard Stern a round of applause.
Oh, thank you.
I haven't heard the word passion discovered. I'm concerned with the band's real self-image because we see full
Let me
page.
address that issue. I don't think
Excuse me.
Well, let
wait,
the
we see-
band speak for
We
themselves,
see
too.
a full-page ad in Billboard. We see you throwing around a lot of money, coming here, groveling to try to play the premiere, and you know that's fine. I give you a lot of credit for effort. I think the music has some validity to it. I'm just concerned what's really behind all this. What's the passion? Where would you guys play, other than if Howard's unable to put you on his show? What venue in New York City or in Los Angeles would you guys see yourself and your audience gravitating towards?
Well, if Howard can't let us play at Madison Square Garden this week, we'll be back in a month.
Playing there.
Right.
Once your record hits.
Where have you guys played publicly to this point?
It's irrelevant, but I will say
It's very relevant.
Hello? I will say this.
Where are your fans coming from if they haven't seen you perform outwardly,
All right.
other than through Howard's graciousness?
It's not an
not
important
irrelevant.
issue.
No, it is an issue. You talk about.
What we want is a record label to sign the boys. That is their paramount value. The reason that we came to the Stern Show had nothing to do with the shtick. The shtick was nothing more than a lender getting us to the top. That's all it served
What language
as.
is he
Just
using?
a buffer. a stairwell.
Dude, you got a whole nother lingo.
Paramount value.
lender?
Dude, you're way
naturally
past
has
Ebonics.
been the music. That's all we cared about.
Matt, go ahead. Scale of 1 to 10.
I'd say a 6.
All right, Steve.
I'd say the musicianship is a 7. Performance is a 6. And not having a CD to listen
Listen,
to
I don't
music.
give a rat's ass who these record people
Here you
get,
go.
what they score.
hey,
We have
four
all the
more
record
labels.
people
Piss
who
off.
think it's a 10. I don't need these people.
Hey, there's always
disparaging
room
my
to grow,
music
guys.
Anyway.
Six is not bad. If we weren't even interested, I can speak for myself, not the others on the panel here. If I was not interested, it would have been like what Bob gave you, which is a 2. You know what? I'd like to see you again. I'd like to see an environment where you can move around on stage, where you're not tripping over
Well,
yourself.
hopefully this Thursday.
But you should
Well,
book
that's
a
up to
club.
Howard.
No,
The premiere.
no, that's not the place.
The premiere might not be the place. So listen, guys, I can't make any promises. I told you that up front. I got to talk to the people, because even the people at MTV, I wanted to have more bands than I'm having now. They've already axed
They've
half the
been
bands.
cutting you back.
So unfortunately, the Jesus Twins, they don't get to perform at the MSG premiere, but they go there anyways. I think they got free tickets, and the whole crowd just starts booing them. They get in a fight in the crowd, and then a few days later, they call into the Stern Show to discuss what happened, and they're acting like everyone there loved them, like this was a good sign for their career and everything. But it sounds like they're starting to get upset with Howard because he didn't let them perform, even though he's been the only guy that's given them a chance. You know, he's been pretty good to them, but these guys are just self-destructive, and they're going to burn every bridge. So at the end of this call, they really screw things up with Howard, and I think they're already on thin ice with him because they put out this billboard ad with his name in it and him like claiming that they were a good band or something, and he was pretty upset about that, which we're going to get into later on here. But yeah, at the end of this call, they make an anti-Semitic remark towards Howard, and you can tell he's pissed about it, and he's about done with them. You know, he's given them enough chances.
Understand that the Jesus Twins showed up, and when they got into the movie finally, they flipped the bird to some of the audience members, and then a fist fight almost broke out, and they had...
Absolutely false, completely fallacious. What happened, Howard, if I can address the issue? Howard.
Let the Jesus Twins
Howard.
address the issue.
Howard.
Yes.
I'm hitting him with the phone.
Good.
No, he's not. Now, listen. That is true to a certain extent. The fans were chanting for us with their terms of endearment, because that's exactly what it is.
Right.
There's a very thin line between love and hate, especially initially.
Right.
So they were chanting our theme, Jesus Twins Suck, which is a very flattering theme.
No, come on. Don't try to be funny.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious.
When somebody says the Jesus Twins suck, that's not flattering.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, Howard. Let me explain. It's a contra approval right now. They love the Twins. And because of this, the market appeal will dramatically incline. Howard. Right now, they're going to be very popular. No, Howard.
All right. So,
Howard.
yeah.
Listen, let's talk to you about one issue right now.
Yes.
And that is, Thursday, you're coming to Los Angeles.
Right.
We're going to be here. We got a hometown crowd, and we're going to play the LA premiere.
Is there an LA premiere?
I don't know.
Howard, let's face Howard, let's face the facts.
Right.
When you were up there with White Zombie,
Rob Zombie. That was not White
whatever he
Zombie.
calls himself. Listen, you look like a politician up there waving to the crowd.
Oh, please. I've seen you guys. Hey, no offense, man. You want to start critiquing, man. I've seen you guys dance. I've seen my grandmother dance better than that. All right, listen, I got to go.
What?
I got to go. Goodbye.
All right, see you, Hook Nose.
Thanks. And that'll be the last time you'll be on my show.
I don't give a rat's ass.
Stupid asses. Dopes.
It's over, Johnny.
They're actually starting to believe they might be happening.
So even though Howard's done with them, the Jesus Twins and their managers show up at the LA premiere and they get Howard's attention. They start talking to him a little bit and John's trying to apologize to him and everything, but you could tell Howard's done with them. You know, he's moved on. But this is a wild scene here. Like Bob Saget's there and then Jay Leno ends up calling in, who the Jesus Twins obviously hate, and they start screaming at him and then they just end up getting thrown out. Also, this guy who's right next to John, somebody pointed out that this guy actually went on to become a really successful musician, so it's too bad John didn't manage him. He's actually the lead singer for Steel Panther. He started that band.
Wait a second. There's the Jesus Twins manager. You guys are history with me. You can forget it.
Goodbye.
Hold on one
It's
second.
over.
One
You're
second.
going back into obscurity.
Howard, what was the question? I can barely hear you.
There's no question. It's a statement. I said you guys are history. With me, you're history.
Howard,
Feel
on
your
behalf
obscurity.
of Janie Music and behalf of myself, we owe you a thorough apology, and we want to... hold on.
You guys insulted me. You insulted me.
No,
That's
you're
all.
not coming up on the stage.
Howard,
Right.
Howard, listen, everybody.
I got Bob Saget. Let me bring in Bob.
We don't have time for you.
We don't have time for you.
You blew it.
You blew it with me.
Very difficult to hear you, but I just want to apologize on behalf of the Jesus Twins. Unfortunately, it was very difficult for me to speak on the phone, but I do want to apologize, and I do want to convey to everybody that the Jesus Twins are serious musicians. This Tuesday at the Baked Potato in Studio City, the Jesus Twins.
All right, thank
will
you.
be
I got Bob
appearing
Saget.
Live with Slash. That has been. Howard, listen. I admit we were wrong, absolutely, in the confrontation that took place on Tuesday. But making that point completely superfluous, the Jesus Twins are a phenomenal group.
You guys blew it with me. You blew it with me.
Wait a second.
I helped you out, but
I want to have an
you bit the
opportunity
hand that
to
feed
win
you.
over
You
the-
bit the hand that fed you. You bit the hand that fed you.
Howard!
What's your problem? It's over. It's over.
Howard, we came here tonight to apologize like
You
a
can't
man.
spend your whole life apologizing.
Put us on the air. Enough with Lucas.
All right, thank you.
I'm a-
So now that you've achieved some success, that you extend a helping hand to someone, you certainly go over, you take some young talent out there, you
And
try to
get
help
'em
these
some
guys,
exposure.
That's right.
and then they bite the hand that feeds them. They bite the
They
hand that
just
feeds them.
They don't get it.
Right. They don't get it. You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
There's a sign that says, "Where's my show?" So it's all about resentment, jealousy,
Right.
arrogance.
Yeah.
I host people getting hit in the nuts.
You're an incredible talent.
Thank you.
But anyway, listen. I am taking thorough responsibility for the inadequacy of my band. I
You
should
know
have
what?
taken
Excuse
control
me.
from the
Excuse me a
get-go.
second.
Listen to Bob.
I woke up. I did a paper route. I'm exhausted. I'm actually going to go over and take the mic from you to help
Shut
you.
up, you faggot.
Hey, stop
hey,
it. Wait a second. Here comes Bob. He's grabbing the microphone. Yeah!
You know, like you said, it was a sweet film, and it was good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
I'm actually in Billboard Live, and there's like an altercation going on.
Oh, all right. Well, Howard, get some sleep, and I'll see you at the show.
Jay, I'll see you at the show. I got to go take care of this. Thanks, Jay. Jay Leno, everybody. Hey, what are the Jesus Twins talking
They
about?
were screaming at Jay, I think.
Yeah, they got in the VIP section.
Hey, dudes.
You can say obscurity. I say ubiquity, and you're going to be our enemy. You have a choice. I came to you with a sincere apology. You are my bitch. You are my bitch.
Goodbye.
That's it. It's war.
Goodbye.
The Jesus Twins will not be denied. Robin, you suck.
Thank you.
The Jesus Twins
I take that as a compliment.
I don't care.
I'm kind of entertained. The Jesus Twins are being wrestled to the ground by security.
You know what it is?
Yeah. Look at this. Look what's going on. Yeah.
They must have gone home and listened to the show yesterday. And at one point they were saying, "Feel my ubiquity," which is the name of their song. I said,
Yeah.
"Feel your obscurity."
Right.
And they're very upset about it now.
There go the Jesus Twins. Harry, what's going on?
I don't know, man. They came here, they stay up all night.
Right.
And I think they were drinking. They're all
Baba
red-faced
Booey.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And they came in on the side. The first thing they said was, "Jay Leno sucks."
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were screaming about Jay.
Yeah, well, they always had a thing about Jay because he wouldn't let him on the show or something.
Yeah, now I miss those guys. That's a sad thing.
Did you bring him back?
It's crazy. Howard really does like these guys for some reason. I mean, they're entertaining. Like, a lot of people thought they were like some of the best guests on the show. But, they're just so annoying. Like, they're not going to get anywhere with their music. And it's pretty clear as this goes on, these guys are pretty unhinged. And, Howard, he's still not done with them here. They end up calling back into his show like a few months later to talk about how they split up with John. And John's on the phone as well. And they get into this giant argument because, like I said, John's been financing the whole thing. It sounds like he's been paying for a lot. And he really believed in them. He really wanted to see them succeed. But they just want to sit around drinking all day and yelling at people. And it's impossible for them to work with anybody. They have no hope. And John still believes in them. Like, he still wants them to take him back. Well, he claims he left. They said he is fired. Who knows? It just sounds like they're taking advantage of John. Like, they used his money to put out that billboard ad as well. And I don't even know if he said they should do that because Howard did not want them to do it, but they went through with it anyways. And then John had to deal with Howard getting really mad at him. And it sounds like he might have even threatened to sue him, or he did sue him at one point, possibly. So this whole thing was just a headache for John, I'm sure. And I think he says he spent like $400,000 on them or something. And still, after all that, he still wants them back. He's like, "Hey, if you guys stop drinking and stop smoking weed, I'll gladly take you guys back. I'll start buying you cars again."
I just want to make one point very clear.
Yes.
Right now, I'm very upset with the boys. And the reason I'm upset with them is that they are exceptional talents. They are the magnum opus of the 1990s. And
Why did they fire you then?
They didn't. Listen, I would be the manager if the two of you acted like adults, spent more time practicing your music and less time drinking and acting like buffoons. What happened at Billboard Live when the two of you schmucks embarrassed me? I told you to work on the 11 songs, but no! Instead, you had to get kicked out by security guards, insult Howard, insult Robin.
John, you've been fired. You shouldn't even be on the Howard Stern show.
Why did I quit? Listen, who bought you the Mercedes-Benz? Who bought Eric the BMW that I purchased out of my own pocket? Listen, I make $300,000 a year.
Yeah, now what do you do? You're nothing.
Were on the streets when I met you. If it wasn't for me, the two of you bums would still be living on the streets of Hollywood.
Hey, you're complaining about an advertisement in Billboard magazine. At least that was money well spent.
Oh, really? Now I have a lawsuit that these two punks had the audacity to take my credit card, and spend it on. I'm getting calls from Howard's lawyers. I'm getting calls from E.
Yeah, well, you guys really screwed up.
Yeah,
we told you not to do that, and you did it.
Do what?
You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, John.
Hey,
John, you're going to have to deal with that now because the point is you might as well spend your money on hookers without the Jesus Twins because that's the only way you got laid in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Listen, who bought you the clothes? Who bought you the cars? If it wasn't for me, you guys would be living in a cardboard box. I need you guys what you are today.
You can get money from anywhere, you loser.
Oh,
You're
really?
a retard.
I'm the loser.
John, you're playing football. Everybody else is playing baseball.
I'm willing to buy you guys 2 new cars. I'm willing to bring you back on the condition that you guys clean yourselves up, get into the studio
And put us, Howard, you wanted to arrest us, Howard.
Really?
For putting the ad in Billboard magazine. I said, look.
He's right.
I didn't want to arrest you. You got that all wrong. Gus Brady was the one that wanted to arrest you. In fact, I got into a physical confrontation with Gus just the other day because he was talking smart about the two of you.
Hey, John, why'd you have people come over to our place and have us make us go into AA, huh?
I did it because I love you guys. Don't you understand? I'm your manager for crying out loud. I'll tell you what, if you guys promise me not to drink, if you promise to cut down on the cigarettes, if you promise to cut down on the marijuana, then I might consider the idea of thinking of...
No, the marijuana adds to the music. There's nothing wrong with marijuana.
All right, I'll tell you what. All right, I'll agree to the marijuana. I'll agree to the cigarettes, but you got to cut down on the alcohol, guys.
And what's the deal?
Sorry.
1,000 a day?
Killing your liver. It's going to kill your performance, and I don't want to see you guys become another Kurt Cobain, okay? I'm sorry.
John, the point is, you have no group. You've invested all this money.
Oh, really?
You have nothing without us. You're an out-of-work manager without us.
All right, I'm going to tell you one thing. I can make money, but I will acquiesce on one level. I think you guys are the best. There's no group out there that is better than the...
We already know that. We already know that, John.
I'll tell you what. I'll make you guys a deal.
Show me the money.
How serious are you about
Jerry Maguire says, show me the money.
Show you the money? What if I show you the exit? Cuba Gooding.
I don't know how this shit is real. It's crazy. What does this guy see in them? This sounds like such a mess. Why would you want to get back involved with that? It's pretty obvious that things are not going to get any better for them. And they don't. Things get actually a lot worse, and it takes a dark turn here. So like I said in the beginning, it was hard for people to tell if these guys were just playing this up to be entertaining and funny, or if this is how they actually are. Because if these guys are for real, they probably have some serious issues. And even if they're faking it, I mean, to fake all this stuff, you got to have some problems as well. But I think people got the answer to this when one of the twins randomly showed up to the studio, I think 2 years after their last appearance, and he just showed up randomly and his head was shaved and he's barely saying anything, and he was telling people to refer to him as Satan. And then they figured out he just broke out of a mental hospital. And of course, even with all this going on, you know, Howard probably should have just said, like, all right, let's try to get him back in the hospital. Instead, Howard brought him on the air and he's trying to talk to him, but he didn't want to say anything because he was clearly having some kind of mental breakdown.
And what is going on with you? How are you making a living? How long were you in the hospital? To give me some information. Everyone wants to know. Because I got to play Old Dirty Bastard next.
I just broke out yesterday.
You just broke out of the hospital? What hospital were you in?
LIJ.
LIJ on Long Island?
Mm-hmm.
You're from Long Island?
Mm-hmm.
And you broke out? You weren't released?
Right.
You broke out of the hospital?
Right.
So are you on the lam? I mean, are they looking for you?
No.
No.
Satan, did you have a message or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I want to give you an opportunity to talk. It's just you're not talking.
Hold on, you got to put the head. You got to.
You done?
Going.
All right.
Bye.
No, listen, you guys need to chill out, all right?
All right. What do you got there?
Fucking sideshow.
No, don't use the F word, please.
Why are you
What is
here?
that? What are you doing?
Taking off my shirt.
Why are you taking your shirt off?
Because it's hot.
Well, you got a good physique, I'll tell you that. I wish I was built
Probably
like that.
doesn't eat.
Yeah, I know. All right, anyway, listen, we got to take a break anyway. It's good to see Satan
Telling
again.
us this is not a sideshow. Why did you come here?
I'm not making it a sideshow. I just wanted to talk to you.
Don't glare at me like that.
Oh, you got balls when you're behind glass.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys go. Why don't you guys go chill out? Give Satan something to eat. Get him a breakfast.
Okay.
And see if he feels more comfortable later talking.
All right, you want to do that? Want to sit down for a while?
Yeah. Give him a chance to unwind. He's not comfortable yet.
Satan needs to unwind.
I know these guys. These guys have a lot on their mind, but they got to get comfortable.
Take care, Eric. Just hit that button on the wall right there. You won't get out. Here you go. Yeah, Eric, hold on. Go ahead.
What are you doing, man?
Yo. Melrose, come here. Go inside. Go inside. Go inside now. Forget it. Go.
This is a seriously mental ill person. I'm an act. This guy is what's called catatonic schizophrenic.
What's that all about?
This is the reason why you need security and bodyguards in this world. This guy ought to be locked up, okay? He's sick. I interviewed his brother on the Sunset Strip. His brother is living in L.A. His real name is he's from Lawrence, Long Island.
What did his brother say?
Had a nervous breakdown. This guy had a nervous breakdown. He's been in it. He probably did escape from mental hospitals. I'd stay away from post offices if I were you.
So he's
Look,
mad at you because...
Look, I've had OJ look me in the eye, and OJ has said to me, I'd rather have killed you than Ron and Nicole. I never saw more hate in a human being's eyes. Folks, I have never been scared in my life until just now.
So at this point, it was pretty clear that this dude, he's not messing around. This isn't a shtick or anything. He's got some serious problems going on. But this isn't the last we hear from them. In 2001, Michael Rappaport's on the show, and I guess he just brought the Jesus Twins with him for some reason.
Let me ask you something. Why are you here with the Jesus Twins?
All right, I'm here with the Jesus Twins because you were...
How do you know them?
I know that... Well, first let me answer the first part of the question. I'm here with the Jesus Twins because you were, inviting me on. I don't really feel like I have much to talk about. I don't have a roster of famous women that I have. You know, the Jesus Twins are affiliated with the show, and my wife's friend, Jen Bush, she's very good friends with the Jesus Twins. And I know them. I enjoy them. I think that...
All right, let's say hello to them. All right, here they are, the Jesus Twins. They're back together. I'm shocked. You guys had broken up.
They were broken up for a while.
That's good news to see the Jesus Twins together.
They're so scary.
You guys are scary, right? But that's
good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Now,
which one was the one we saw last?
Yeah, which Jesus Twin did we see? Yeah, are you feeling better?
I'm feeling fine.
Yeah. No. When I saw you the last time, you had gotten out of some kind of. All right.
Well, it has to be in your face so we can hear you.
Yeah, it's hard to hear you. The last time I saw you, I was really actually very afraid because you had left the Jesus Twins. You became somebody known as Satan.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were no longer with your brother.
Well, I was there the whole time. I was the conservator.
I
was actually
what happened? Did you have a nervous breakdown?
No, it's actually manic depression.
I can't hear you.
Manic depression.
Manic depression?
Jimi Hendrix song.
Yeah. Are you better now?
Yeah.
You are. All right.
Yeah.
Are you on medication?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're reunited with your brother?
Yes, I am.
All right. The Jesus Twins are back?
Yeah.
And have you guys gotten any closer to a recording contract?
We have our own record company now.
You have your own record?
Keep laughing.
Yeah, Michael, what are you carrying on about?
I'm tripping off of Gary.
He's laughing at Gary.
Making googly eyes at me.
You guys were always on the cusp. I remember when you had your band and you guys always claimed to be the world's greatest rock band. You were always going to be the biggest thing, and it never happened for you. What
Howard,
went wrong?
we've been through hell, and
Go
now
ahead.
we're back.
What has happened? Give us your story.
My twin brother had a complete nervous breakdown, and it was very scary to not be able to...
There's humanity to them. See, that's
Let
what
me
people
hear what they have to say. This
in
is
the
a whole...
past, we played music for a different reason than we do now. In the past, it was more about our ego, and now it's more about our heart.
All right.
That's all I can say. That's what it's about. That's the truth.
Then Howard let them perform one of their new songs, and they actually had a pretty good crowd here. You know, Michael Rappaport, Ronnie the limo driver, Ben Stiller, he's there, and he said he liked the music, so I wish it just ended there. You know, I wish there was a happy ending. But they go back on the Stern Show a few years after this, and it looks like the twin who had the breakdown, I think Eric is his name, it looks like he's having some trouble once again. He shows up, they go into the green room, they're waiting around, and he gets pissed off, and he punches a glass picture frame and cuts his hand open. And then they go into the studio, and they're just talking about, the whole time they're talking about that California 3 strikes law. Like, they're trying to protest that for some reason. I think because maybe one of them has a strike or something, even though he says he doesn't, but it sounds like he's been in a lot of trouble. And going on the Howard Stern Show is probably the wrong place to protest that kind of stuff because Howard seems to agree with it.
I got into a little altercation with a police officer.
Oh, you did?
That's right.
Why did he stop you, though, in the first place?
Like I said, I was...
mentally ill?
At the time, I had a chemical imbalance.
Well, what did you do to make him stop you?
I was driving a stolen truck.
A stolen truck.
And then when he stopped you, you took a swing at him?
That would cause an altercation with a police officer.
It wasn't exactly... It's not black and white like that. At the time, I was driving a truck. The police officers tried to... I really don't even want to get into it. It's so in the past. I mean...
Right. So how long did you go away for?
2 months.
2 months, okay.
And you know what?
That doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that seems pretty fair. I mean...
Seems a little light
If
to
you're
me.
driving a stolen truck and you get in an altercation with a police officer and they give you 2 months, I'd say the laws are pretty lenient.
Howard, the truth
Would you
is,
agree?
Howard, the truth is that the people in California who are serving life in prison aren't as lucky as Eric has been.
These people.
Well, wait a second. Eric has also done other stuff too. Did you ever threaten a social worker?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, not only that, not only did he get in a fight with a cop, not only did he steal a car, he threatened a social worker's life. So for all of that to do 2 months,
Howard,
the laws are pretty. Sometimes the law works for you.
Howard.
Yeah.
So I believe they also played or performed one of their songs about the 3 strikes law. And I believe this was their last appearance on the show. And then sadly in 2008, I think it was, the twin that was struggling with the mental problems ended up passing away. It sounded like it was a side by cop situation. And then the other twin, I think he's doing all right. I read that he runs a successful dog training business now. And then John Mendelsohn, I'm trying to figure out what he's up to. I think he's just like a real estate guy in New Jersey now. But these guys, they were definitely a legendary group. You know, they had some of the best appearances on the show. People love them. Well, they love to hate them. But I think people can definitely appreciate their appearances now. So that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you leave me a comment, hit the like button, and I'll catch you at the next video.